Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. We're going to talk a little more about how this trade war is turning from bad to worse for Donald Trump. I think he really underestimated everything, and he's paying the ultimate price. And unfortunately, he's going to drag everybody down with him. And it just goes to show you this man really truly don't know what the hell he is doing. I mean, I think we already knew that, but it is very apparent now that he doesn't know what he's doing. And Donald Trump seemed to think that, the world evolves around him. I really think this man really truly believed the entire world evolves around him, and everybody got to conform to his ways. He's one of those my way or the highway, and he doesn't realize sometimes his way is very destructive and not helpful at all. It's okay to have that attitude if you're helpful, but if you're just full of crap and you got that attitude, then I would say that's a problem. That really truly is a problem. So let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's see here. Is it? No. So just give me one moment. I'm going to have to put it up on the screens. Let's see. I don't know why this thing ain't coming up. When it rains, it pours. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody can see the screen. Please give me a 1 if you can. And we're going to go over this recent article because this one is a huge blow to America. China is actually the biggest consumer outside of America of beef and chicken. And for a long time, they got their beef and chicken from the US. They spent billions on a yearly basis for tons and tons of beef and chicken that would be shipped from farmers here into China. So this is another huge blow to farmers in this country. So beef and chicken is mentioned because that's really the biggest thing they bought, but it also includes soybean and corn. So they are no longer going to be making these purchases from the US. So when these farmers say they are about to lose their farm, yes, they are correct. They are going to lose everything. They're going to lose everything. This is a lot of revenue to lose. So China has already made deals with Australia to buy beef and chicken from them. So I guess Donald Trump effed around and found out. But this is huge. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. And I found this scripture, Revelation 18:11. All right, so let's get into this story. So Beijing is choking off the U.S. exports on the sly. So the Trump administration, they're not the only ones that got weapons to use in this trade war. Long before President Donald Trump fired the opening shots of a U.S. China trade war, the White House Rose Garden last week, Beijing had been working behind the scenes to block key U.S. agriculture and energy exports. The Chinese government over the past 4 months have halted a significant amount of imports, and these were direct imports from the U.S. into China, including beef, poultry, and liquefied natural gas, soy, and corn. Those things are huge. So they said things are escalating. And to be honest with you, Donald Trump just went out here and dove into these tariffs. He didn't have no real plan if these tariffs would backfire. I don't believe he did. You know what Donald Trump will tell you when you corner him? He'll tell you he's got a concept of a plan. What the hell is that? What the hell is a concept of a plan? Either you got a plan or you don't. So China probably will get better quality meat, and because a lot of their stuff is grass fed, and it is probably a better quality meat than what they get from the US anyway. The US use too much GMOs and all kinds of modified foods and all kinds of stuff, and they probably don't want that stuff anyway. So Beijing added firepower in the ongoing US China trade war by targeting exports. And this is really going to cripple the red states, Iowa, Nebraska. They were providing a lot of this beef and chicken with restrictions immune to possible workarounds for tariff barriers. So, and a tariff, you can just pay it, but things are getting more costly. But you know what, y'all? You know what I heard? The prices are steadily going up in the US. Do you know they said prices are not going up in China at all? China said since this trade war started, how you doing, Kid Gravity? They said since the trade war started, their prices have not budged. But here in the US, they act like, oh no, we got to pay more. We got to pay more. They're not saying that to China. And it just goes to show you it's these rich people. They're greedy and trying to squeeze us for more money. But China said they're not paying more money. Their stuff is still cheap. That says a lot right there. So the Chinese government knows where it can pinch U.S. exporters hardest. It has already declined to renew export license for hundreds of meat packing plants, alleged that some U.S. chicken products contain unwanted drugs. Did you hear that? They said the chicken they were buying from the U.S. had unwanted drugs in it. I guess to fatten up these chickens, make them plumper than what they really should be, and stop importing U.S. natural gas. Those industries target also happen to be some of the president's most ardent political supporters. Mm, mm, mm. So these farmers that support Trump are the ones that were providing chicken, beef, and chicken and beef and corn and soy to China. And now Donald Trump has managed to cut them off from that. Oh man, there's going to be a lot of farmers in this country going down, y'all. There's going to be a lot going down. Such tactics underscore dexterity of Beijing's response to rising U.S. China trade tensions. It's years of preparation for a new trade war. And they said China was ready. When Donald Trump first took office, they said it did catch them off guard when he kicked off a trade war back then, back in 2016. But they said this time around, they were ready. They were ready for Donald Trump. Okay, so what began as an additional 50% tariff that raised levies on Chinese imports to 104% Wednesday, and then it turned it to 145% tariff level a little over 12 hours later. The second increase came after Beijing upped its own tariffs on the U.S. goods to a total levy of 84%. Beijing counter tariff reprisal pushed levies on the U.S. imports to 125% on Friday. Mm-mm-mm. So, y'all, do you know Canada and Mexico said they are no longer going to try to work with Donald Trump. They are now going around Donald Trump and they're going straight to the EU and they're making trade deals with the EU and just completely pushing Donald Trump out of the picture. Okay, that's what they're doing. And not to mention, China said they are in a good position because their economy is in better shape than the US, that they are in better shape to win this trade war. And many people, and I really do believe China is going to win this trade war. You know, look at Donald Trump. The tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. The tariffs are on. Oh, it's going to be a pause for 30 days. The tariffs are on 5 days later. Oh, it's going to be a pause for 90 days. You think a person like that's going to win a trade war? Hell no. Hell no. He is never going to, he's never going to win no trade war like that. Well, you know, I wonder how many of these MAGA farmers are feeling the pain. We should see their videos in the coming days now that they will not be able to sell their beef and chicken to China. And you know, let's be real, y'all. We know these white farmers are the ones that got these deals. The black farmers didn't get these deals, y'all. They never had access to any of these deals. Just like USAID, all of the deals and contracts they did were with white farmers. They did not do deals with black farmers. That's why you don't see videos of black farmers screaming they're going to lose their farm. No, you only see white farmers doing that because they were the only ones that had access to those contracts. And it's the same in this case. They were the ones selling to China. Now all of that has dried up. Let's see how they're able to hang on to their farms now. Let's see how they will be able to do it. But they were the ones that ran out and thought Donald Trump was the best choice. First, they screwed themselves by running off their undocumented workers. And now you lost all these huge contracts with China. So China, from what I read, is already done deals with Australia. So Australia is probably going to get stronger because of all the revenue they're now getting from China. And he's also doing deals with South America, Brazil. He's going to get a lot of the corn and soybeans elsewhere. He's going to get it from South America. So I don't know why America act like they're the best deal in town. You're not. You never have been. Never. You know? Yeah, well, they never gave the black farmers. If you go and look at the history, y'all, this government helped white farmers steal land from black farmers. A lot of these farmers, they got stolen land from black farmers. And this government played a huge role in making that happen. They absolutely did. Hmm. Yeah, well, China is in better shape. So, and they're not spiking up prices and price gouging everything like they are here in the US, which proves all this price gouging they're doing here is not even necessary. When you can look at a country like China and they're not doing it, so why is the US doing it other than just straight up greed? It's ridiculous. So, y'all just anticipate it's going to spike up even more when he strikes up this trade war in 90 days, and probably he'll do some more insider trading to get his rich buddies richer out here. And by then it's going to be summer. It's going to be summer. Oh yeah. You know what? They said, Kid Gravity, I'm so glad you wrote that about Vietnam and South Korea. China has managed to figure out a way to bypass the US tariffs. You know what they're doing? Anything that got to be shipped out, they're not shipping out from China. They're using Vietnam, they're using South Korea, they're using India to ship their products out because they don't have the high tariff that China has. And they're saving money by just pushing their shipments to a third party. And that's what they're doing. So they're getting around paying these tariffs that Donald Trump has put on them. So, that being said, they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine, y'all. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. But the US with Donald Trump, not so good. I was looking at an article when I first woke up, and they were talking about how bad, just what I was saying to you the other day, how bad the layoffs have gotten, and they appear to be escalating in the country. And that's why I'm saying between the layoffs with Doge running around laying people off, plus what's going on out in the private sector, some people are saying recession. And no, I think we're going to be in a depression. We're going to be in a really serious depression over what Donald Trump is doing. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. And I thank each and every one of you for coming to listen to this live stream. And Monica Gregory, I thank you for your support for my channel. Thank you for the super sticker. Yeah, well, look, this is the man they wanted in office, so you got him. What's the point in crying about it now? And y'all, if you get a chance, y'all go over on TikTok. I watched about 4 videos on white women that were saying just from Donald Trump doing this tariff war for 5 days, they have lost their businesses. They said the tariffs are so high on the products that they need out of China that it's not even worth them staying in business, and they are going out of business. They said they can't afford to stay in business anymore. And just anticipate that as we're leading up to summer, you're going to hear about a lot of businesses closing because of this trade war. Absolutely will. Curly Locks, I deeply thank you for your super sticker. Thank you for your support for my channel. Hmm. Yeah, but they lost so much land from theft, the black farmers. I mean, I'm talking about millions and millions of acres of land that was lost. And like I said, and this government took part in helping these farmers do it. So all that land they're sitting on is not theirs. It's not all theirs. Hmm. Yeah. So y'all, please enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll definitely come back to do. Kid Gravity. There was a shooting at a Walmart down in Atlanta. Some employee was working, and he left and went out to his car, got a gun, shot two employees, and then drove over to a third employee's house and shot them too. In fact, it just came out a few hours ago. I was looking at it just before I came on. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And that because at first when I saw the article, I was like, okay, where is this from? And it said Atlanta. It's just crazy. Mm-mm-mm. All right, y'all. Shalom, family. Oh, did I get another one? Hold on, hold on. Thank you, Danielle Meyer, for your support for my channel. Thank you for the super sticker. Okay, y'all. Shalom, family.